Yeah, no fishing today. It's pretty nasty out. So I'm going to show you how I store my generator for long-term storage. And if you do it this way, you'll never have any problems. I bought this in 2012 when Sandy hit, and I think I've used it once or twice probably since then. 8 years later, it's like brand new. So what I'm going to show you is really easy. It works great. You'll never have any problems restarting this when it's time to use it. It's a pull start, not electric start. It's I use ethanol fuel because that's all we can get around here. We all know how that fuel can wreak havoc on carburetors. And as long as you keep that carburetor clean during storage and it doesn't gum up, it'll start first pull every time. Which I just used it this last couple of days. We had a power outage. I pulled it out of storage. I think it was sitting for at least 3 years, and it started on the second pull. I keep the gas tank full with ethanol fuel. I put a little stabilizer in it, but the key is to, while it's running, you shut the fuel valve off, which I'll show you, and then I take the cover, then I let it run out of gas, and then after it runs out of gas, I put the choke on and I pull it a few times. It'll sputter from what's left over in the carburetor, and then I take the carburetor cover off and I use carburetor cleaner and I squirt it into the carburetor, and then I'll pull it a few more times and it'll actually be running off of that fluid, and that will get the carburetor completely clean. You're going to need to put this away for a long time is some stabilizer. Whether this really does anything or not, I have no idea, but I always put a little bit in if I don't need it, and I use carburetor cleaner. So the first thing you want to check is your oil. This machine, the oil dipstick is right here. I'm going to unscrew it. Oil looks clean, and it's well, you probably, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's where it's supposed to be. So I'm not going to bother changing that. So after I check the oil, I'll make sure the fuel is topped off and almost full. It doesn't have to be, I would say, really close to full. And what that does is prevent any condensation from building up during storage. I put a little fuel stabilizer in it and I let it run for 5 minutes. Set the fuel valve off and I'm let it run till it's out of gas. There's your fuel valve. Put that on, choke on. Carburetor is out of gas. So what I'm going to do is put the choke on and I'm going to pull it a couple times. It might sputter a little bit. This will get a little more of the excess gas out of there. So now the next step is the most important one. So we're going to take the cover off the carburetor, cover off of the carburetor. This is the carburetor filter, and there's a little cover taken off the covering the carburetor where the air intake is. So let me get a close-up of that. So I took the cover off of the carburetor, took the filter off. There was a little plate here. Took that off. And so now here comes the why I use the carburetor. This is carburetor cleaner. You can use either carburetor cleaner or starting fluid. So I'll just spray a little in there, and then I'll pull it again. So what happened, instead of running on the fuel from the fuel tank, or what was left over in the carburetor I should say, it's running off of this. This stuff is not going to leave any, it's not going to gum up and leave any residue in your carburetor after sitting for a long time. So maybe I'll do that a couple times. So that's it, you're done. I put the plate back on. Make sure you pay attention how you took it off. That just sits on there like so. The foam. Well, if you see any residue, just clean it up. Because that'll get gummy after a while. Keep it clean. Put this back on. Gotta lift this up to put this back on. Put your cover back on. So I just tuck it in the garage, and I have the box it came in. I have the cardboard cut off on one side, and I keep it over the top of the machine, and the machine stays nice and clean. So looks like brand new. It'll stay looking like brand new, and 3 years from now when you need this, pull it out and it'll fire right up. Thanks for watching.